Hello, friends. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm your host, Zen Garcia.
Live broadcast. I'm your host, Zen Garcia. This is Secrets Revealed, and we are on with Crypto Beetle, and I'm excited for tonight's show. It's all audio, just so you know, brother. But how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, bro. Doing great. Yeah, I just noticed I can kind of see the camera, or I guess me and my screen, and I'm just all lit up from the sun. So I guess I'm glad that it's all audio tonight.
Oh no, you look good, man. And yeah, and the on the YouTube live stream, I'm sure they'll be able to see you and be glad to have some visual. But before we begin, can you tell people about your website, contact information, anything that you'd like to share, and kind of what you do?
Yeah, I guess I'll just start at the beginning. I'm a Christian husband, father, business builder. I've got a TV show on Biz TV. I've got a YouTube channel called Crypto Beadles, where we try to educate people on cryptocurrencies, as well as just, I guess kind of just self-improvement, things like that. God's blessed me and my family immensely. And so we built some of the largest companies in California, one of the largest service companies, big software company, founder and creator of Monarch, a whole bunch of different things. And so we try to give back, and people on the channel, they were asking us to, rather than just talk about crypto all the time, kind of give them help onto how to, I guess, be more and do more in life. And so, that's, in a nutshell, that's, some of the stuff right there. And I'm super easy to find. It's just cryptobeadles.com. So crypto, CRYPTO, and then Beadles, BEADLES. And that's .com. So cryptobeadles.com. And you can find all my social links right there. And whatever isn't being censored, it seems like every time I turn around, I'm getting a video removed or something taken down. But there's always Parler and other things coming up now for people that want to keep their audience and still get the word out without all the censorship.
Yeah, that is all really unfortunate that we have reached a period where all of that is increasing to such a degree that channels like myself and you are affected. And but so can you tell us how long you've been on YouTube and how long you've been helping people with regard to self-improvement?
Yeah, so as far as YouTube goes, I created a channel. My son and I, we do it just to kind of help family and friends. And we started doing that, I think it was Christmas Eve of 2017. That was in the wake of everybody hearing about cryptocurrency. And I've been in crypto since around February of 2011. And so a lot of my family,
wow.
Yeah, a lot of my family and friends, they knew that I was in crypto. And it seemed like around 2017, towards the tail end of it, everybody was trying to get into crypto. And so the friends and family kept asking the same questions over and over again. And yeah, some of my friends and family, they asked me, just why don't you do a video for us? So that way you can kind of, you don't have to repeat yourself so many times. So what I did was, the kid and I got together. We did a couple videos just telling people the kind of the ins and out of crypto, and basically be very, very careful. Never invest anything that you're not 100% willing to lose, because crypto is super volatile and dangerous. Right. And I told them they could go to zero, and I recommend if they're getting in right now, they should be actually getting out right now, because it doesn't make sense why it's so high. And so it wasn't very favorable in the crypto community, my take on things, but it's proven to be right damn near every time that I talk, not to have like a big head or pat myself on the back, but for the most part, I just try to take a realist kind of viewpoint on things, whether it's in business and life and crypto, whatever. And it seems like a lot of people out there, they have all these outlandish predictions, and they end up hurting a lot of people, because they work really hard for their money. And
right.
And there's this sentiment out there in the Bitcoin community that, a Bitcoin is worth one Bitcoin. And that's just kind of ridiculous, because you know how hard it is to make money. You know how hard it is to take care of your family instead of these other people. And if you paid $20,000 for that Bitcoin and then it dropped to $3,000, that's a $17,000 loss. Right. And you can say that you only lose money when you sell, but that's a surefire way to feel a $17,000 kick to the groin. So I've always tried to be real about things and not try to have any kind of outlandish predictions, stuff like that. Just try to teach people the basics as this progressed, I started bringing on different crypto projects that the family, the community asked me to bring on. So we bring them on and let them tell their story and why what they're doing is important or why they think it's important. And I always told people in the beginning, I'm like, look, I didn't invest in this company. I'm not investing in this company, but you asked me to bring them on, so here they are. So I did some of that for a while, and then people really started asking for more self-improvement, advice on how to make money, advice on how to create businesses. And so we kind of segued into that a little bit, while always, trying to make sure that, we always, give our dues to Christ for our success. And then also at the same time, try to help them, better themselves and better their position in the world. And so we've done a little bit of that. We've done, I think, 600 and something videos. We've, like I said in the beginning, we've built, some very successful businesses, thank God. And, we're just trying to give back. We've made our money. And so now we spend, a lot of our time, either building existing enterprises we have or, just doing free content, because I never take any money from anybody ever when it comes to any of the videos that we do. We have no sponsors, no advertisers. I turn them all down. It's just free content.
That's awesome, brother, because I know a lot of people have really kind of hoarded themselves out, in allowing crypto companies and up-and-coming ICOs and things of that nature to be paid off, and to really pump those coins and to get people to invest and to support. And then it's a pump and dump situation, and a lot of people end up, on the bad end of things. And it's unfortunate that most channels have taken on that kind of a stance and allowing sponsors to affect their content. And there's definitely not a lot of people that have integrity in the space when it comes to that.
Yeah, it's tough to find, but there are some good ones out there. One of the things that we did to try to help the crypto space and just people in general was just to kind of create free products for them to use that they know are safe, where we don't have any access to their funds. So that's why we created like Monarch. This is the emblem right here, where you or anybody that uses the product is the monarch of their funds. So we can talk about that later if you want. But we created a lot of products too, because I'm heavily in tech and software, and so we created some really cool stuff that we just gave to the world for free, and it's out there for everybody to use right now. And every week it just gets better and better.
Yeah, we will do that, but I'd like to go to the very beginning of your story and how you got involved, how you heard about crypto, and because 2011, boy, you were way ahead of the game with regard to most people. As you said, there was most people got involved in 2017 after the big run up to 20,000, and so can you talk about that, share that story with us?
Yeah. So around 2009 is where we created Splash Factory. It's a software development company where we build applications for companies like the United States Post Office and other reputable companies. And then around 2011, a guy that I respect a lot, a guy named Max Kaiser, he has his own TV. He has his TV show on RTTV, and he's created, algorithms and things that the stock market and Wall Street they use. And so when he speaks, I kind of listened to him a little bit, and he kept talking about this thing called Bitcoin. And this was February 2011. I actually heard him. I think the first time talking about it, I think it was on Alex Jones or something like that. And he was talking about how the bankers, how they had screwed us, and how this magical cryptocurrency called Bitcoin could keep that from ever happening again. And so I started looking into it, and that was right around February of 2011. Bitcoin went live right around January was it 9th, 2009. Their white paper came out. I think Halloween, 10/31/2008. So it's been around already a couple of years before I got into it. And I started looking at the tech, and I thought, man, this is really cool. This is really different from anything else that I'd ever seen before. And so I just got kind of bit by the bug, and I just started, learning as much as that I possibly could about it. And then around 2017, when everybody started hitting me up about it because it was going up through the roof, one of the common problems we kept finding all the time was people were losing their money. They were losing their cryptocurrency. They were putting it on exchanges. The exchanges would go out of business. They would get hacked. They would steal their funds. And so one of the biggest problems that we saw in the space was just the ability to safely store your cryptocurrency, your hard-earned money. How do you safely store it without somebody stealing it from you? So we created Monarch to address that, which allows anybody to safely send, store, and receive their cryptocurrency, as well as, buy, sell, trade it, keep track of their portfolio, the news, all that kind of stuff. Their seed. And, it's free. They can download right now today off Apple or Google, the stores there. So we did that. And then we created Monarch Pay for merchants, because there's a big problem in the space, just in the world in general, with credit cards, with PayPal, with banks. And so we created a decentralized payment, I guess you would just call it a platform, Monarch Pay, which is kind of like a PayPal if you think about it, but it's decentralized. And so it allows people to use cryptocurrency to pay their bills. And there's nobody, that can take the money back. There's no high fees. There's no clawbacks like you've seen credit card processors do with chargebacks. There's no freezing of funds like you see with PayPal. It allows the user to be the monarch. It allows the user to have 100% control of their funds, to where they can set up reoccurring payment methods if they want, or one-time, single-time, events. And basically, you have your merchant using Monarch Pay, and you have the customer using Monarch Pay, and the money just goes back and forth between the two of them. And either one of them can turn it off anytime that they want, but they don't have to worry about clawbacks, chargebacks, high interest, interest fees, all that kind of stuff. So freezing of accounts. So we created that for the merchants. So we created Monarch Wallet for the world. We created Monarch Pay for merchants. And, we've at the same time been trying to educate people along the way with what crypto is, how they can use it, how blockchain in itself can benefit the world, who needs it, who doesn't, and then bringing people on that are some of the best and brightest in the space, as well as people that have their own projects. And so that's some of the stuff that we've done. I wrote a book that we give away for free all the time. So that's, I think, on the website too. And every once in a while we do live streams and I give away a bunch of that stuff. So it's just like a very basic book that tells people the very basics of how to safely interact with cryptocurrency. And but yeah, we're always just trying to do cool things, add more value, and God's been great to us. So we're just trying to give back.
Wow, that's amazing. So is Monarch, is it also a cryptocurrency?
Yeah, so we do have a cryptocurrency. It's called Monarch Token. I've never asked anybody to buy it. You can go back through all my videos. It's something that creates I guess you would call it a price deduction within transaction fees within the Monarch Pay system. So if you're paying 1% transaction fee, which is still extremely low using Monarch, it would be about 0.5%. So we have that. And then we're launching a video game using blockchain that anybody that uses any kind of smartphone video game right now, they're not going to know the difference. The only difference is going to be it's blockchain based, but they'll never be able to know that it is. And they're actually rewarded in cryptocurrency, so they can actually take that cryptocurrency and buy in-game items, or just cash out into liquid money, or liquid cryptocurrency. So we did that, and that's coming out probably in the next. COVID's got us all screwed up, man. Everybody's working decentralized instead of at the office. So it's like, I was hoping to have it out a long time ago, but it's probably going to be within the next couple of weeks. It's done. We just did all the finishing polishes to it. It is freaking incredible. It's fun, and people actually get paid to play. So that's it's something I've never seen before, and we're excited to bring that to the world. And hopefully within the next few weeks to a month, it'll be live, because right now it's we're able to use it and play with it in beta. And our friends and family and all that kind of stuff, but actually putting it on the stores, that's probably still going to be another couple of weeks, maybe a month at the most.
Well, that is amazing, brother. I mean, you have done quite a lot. What's the name of the game, and how does it play? What kind of is? So
it's called Bull Run. So when you think about it's called Bull Run, beat the markets. So it's like an endless runner game. It's like one of those Angry Bird types where you're constantly moving, And as you're moving, you're dodging obstacles and you're picking up power-ups and you're being rewarded in cryptocurrency the whole time. So you can
That is awesome.
Yeah, so you can use a crypto to buy more level ups or just cash out, whatever you want to do with it. So it's a way to get people to understand how cryptocurrency works, how to use a wallet, but they don't have to know any of that stuff if they don't want to. So it's totally up to the user. If they just want to have a fun game, it's a great game. It's one of the funnest endless runner games I've ever seen, and I take some credit for that. So I mean, it's like pat myself on the back a little bit, but it was something that myself and the team and we spent a lot of time on. We're super excited to bring it to the world, but that's one of the many things that we do, and it's just another proof of concept, so to speak, of how blockchain actually works just in the gaming environment, because there's so many other different avenues that people could use blockchain. But what I don't like to see people do is get hurt when they're buying cryptocurrency. So crypto is super volatile. You got to be super careful with what you buy, but the aspects of blockchain are super incredible and have a lot of value that's going to bring to the world. But there's a lot of people out there that say that everything needs to be blockchain, which is ridiculous, because it doesn't. Not everything needs to be blockchain. So you have to be careful who you listen to and what their motives are and what they're trying to sell you and all that kind of stuff in this space for sure.
Yeah, because a lot of people are just trying to, bring some kind of application connected to blockchain just so they can profit, and they can try to create something that seems to be applicable to the space, when a lot of the cryptocurrencies, I believe, are kind of unnecessary. But there was a time when there was all these people and all these companies trying to create all these tokens, and so but a lot of those have since failed. And so with regard to Monarch and the wallet and the products, and is the website monarch.com, or and also where can people go to when they have access to download the game, and what would it be called?
Yeah, so in Monarch, everything that I just mentioned is totally free to download, to use. So monarchwallet.com, you can go there. For merchants, monarchpay.com. Bull Run, that'll be in the actual app stores itself, and that's probably a couple weeks, depending on when this airs, a couple weeks to a month from now. And we're super excited about that. And again, all these things are free, just like the game. You don't have to pay for the game. Just download it for free, play it, and actually get paid, to play it. So I mean, it's kind of like a no-brainer here. This is like, I don't charge for the wallet. We don't charge for Monarch Pay. However, with Monarch Pay, there is a transaction fee because we're actually doing the reoccurring payments, smart contracts for the people. So it's like a % or two. But to actually use it, download it, all that kind of stuff, it's free. The wallet itself is free. If you're going to be buying cryptocurrencies and trading cryptocurrencies, and there's a minimal fee there. But as far as like sending, storing, receiving crypto, again, all that stuff is free. And this is just one of the many things that I do. And it's just, just another way to add value to the world. And I think blockchain and crypto is pretty awesome. And if you stay clear of, all the scams and all the craziness out there, you're going to see that there's a real use case for it when you want something that's transparent, when you want something that's immutable, when you want something that's censorship proof, when you want something that basically transparent for the world. This is not for everybody. So you have to be careful, who you're listening to when they're saying, this is going to, revolutionize, this company or whatever, just pay us X amount of dollars, because a lot of people don't need blockchain or crypto, but you're going to see that it's going to be super prevalent in the world going forward. It's kind of like the beginning of the internet of sorts. So when the internet first started, people thought it was just, basically for nefarious actors, criminals, things like that. And that's what people thought of Bitcoin. But Bitcoin, for instance, is one of those, I call it a plan B currency. And what that means to me is it's never going to replace the dollar. It's never going to replace any kind of government currency, except that when you have a government that's failed, like you see in like Venezuela with the Boulevard, and they're trying to pay for goods and services. Bitcoin is incredible for being able to send instantly, value peer to peer. So if you needed to pay for, your rent or bread or fuel or any of that kind of stuff, Bitcoin is incredible for that because it's not controlled by anybody for the most part. So, it makes a great plan B currency. However, most people are using it for speculations. You're seeing Wall Street get into it. All the big banks, they were just given approval to be custodians of cryptocurrency. So you're going to see, as you probably been saying, the price of Bitcoin, it's been going up because the Fed has been printing more money. The banks have just now been allowed to be essentially hot wallets, which is basically a custodian of cryptocurrency. They're coming out with more ETFs and all these different types of baskets of cryptocurrency. And so the Bitcoin is its original use by Satoshi Nakamoto. When he created it, it was essentially to be a way to transact value peer-to-peer, a digital currency of sorts. But what it's become mostly now is digital gold. And so, I can ramble on forever. You just point me in the direction you want me to go.
No, this is all good, and these are all things that I want the listeners to be able to hear, especially from somebody that's been in the space for a very long time, and especially now that in the the current times that we're in, we see that there is increasing uncertainty out there, especially with all the COVID and the hype with that, and then all of the debt, even with now the second, as far as the stimulus check and the whatever $3 trillion, $1 to $3 trillion that they're adding on to our current debt levels, which we'll never be able to pay off. And so at some point, central banks and governments and the way that things have been business as usual, something's got to give. And we see also that the price of gold and silver and the dollar has been collapsing and is at a 2-year low. And silver and gold is now at an all-time high. Silver's reached $24 the last time I checked. And so the value of alternative as far as to fiat, it has been increasing exponentially over the last few weeks, as is Bitcoin. It just reached 11,000 and has been holding steady, and people feel that there's going to be even a greater run up. And so we're going to come back from break in about 3 minutes, and we'll talk about all those things. But I consider it a great honor to be able to speak to someone like yourself that's been in the space for a very long time, that is well educated on those things. And as far as Bitcoin, the very interesting thing is that it is outside of the control of the central banks and the Illuminati and the New World Order, and they're not able to print it the way that they do the dollars and the fiat currencies, and so it being a store of value and being able to be sent and in seconds across the whole plane of the earth, and then also being able to be, if you take it in a hardware wallet or whatever, to be able to cross borders and to travel with it is something that is also unique, in that traveling with even over $10,000, that they can confiscate that from you, and then or taking pounds of silver and gold is something that is not realistic when it comes to the transfer of wealth. And so Bitcoin, it gives resolution to all of those kind of situations, which make it extremely, as far as people that are looking for something like that, it's unique in those kind of characteristics. But we've got about a minute, so I'll give you a chance to comment, and then we'll pick it up on the other side.
Sure. Well, the honor is all mine, brother. We had a great talk last time we were together. Learned a lot from you. You're a gentleman and a scholar, and so you have a ton of information between those two ears, and so it's always great. It's always great to speak with you. As far as a lot of the things you mentioned there, I would agree with most of it. With the idea of carrying a hardware wallet, I disagree. I I think those are dangerous. I mean, just today, I think was a Ledger or somebody like that. They had an issue. So they were sending wallets to the wrong people, or their people got doxxed. I don't know, something along those lines. What I'm a big believer in is a decentralized wallet, to where you have 12 words. And think about this: you could have $12 trillion on your Monarch wallet, or a decentralized wallet. Those 12 words. You could throw your phone away, keep those 12 words in your brain, cross any border in the world, go find a crappy cell phone, smartphone, download the Monarch wallet, enter those 12 words in it, and like magic, your money's back.
Oh, that is awesome. Yeah, much wiser. All right, we'll be right back, everyone.
The seeker of lost paradise may seem a fool to those who have never sought the other worlds. Christ told us in Revelation 2, "Remember from whence thou art fallen, and do the first works." What many people don't realize about the fall of humanity is that Adam and Eve were initially bright-natured, and that they were placed into the garden of God to dress and tend it, and that being deceived and tempted and eating from the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, that in that moment that you touch thereof you shall die, that they come under the authority of death in those moments, and since their fall have been banished from the place of the immortals. This concept becomes very clear in the work of the forgotten Edenic books of Adam and Eve. And as we study and read into this material, this knowledge will come to light, and it will help you to understand that being restored to our bright nature, our first estate through Christ, that the reason he had to take on embodiment and enter into mortal flesh form was in order to not only redeem the ancestors of Adam, the children of light, but also to rectify us and to restore us to our first estate in this manner, defeating death and bringing forth salvation with the promise of the cross.
Many truth seekers are constantly studying alone. But there is a place where we can come together. The Digital Readers Club is our online ecclesia meant for those who've forsaken churchianity but still want the closeness of a family to study with. Join us every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time to put together the puzzle pieces of truth scattered throughout the ancient scriptures. Every day, questions arise.
Are the stories in the Bible true?
What if I told you that there are hundreds of confirming witnesses,
which give intricate detail to the stories in the Bible?
Have you ever found yourself deep in the rabbit hole with questions that no one seemed to have the answers to? Join us every other Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for our Ask Me Anything series with author and researcher Zen Garcia, as he sheds light on the mysteries which have us all searching together.
Sacred Word Revealed
comes to Atlanta, Georgia
On September 11th to the 13th, 2020.
Purpose to reveal end-time mysteries.
To prepare the final generation,
we must don the full armor of God.
Featuring Zen Garcia,
Dr. Joy Pugh,
Rob Skiba,
Gary Wayne,
Yana Ben Noon,
Stephen Benoon,
Dr. Stephen Pigeon,
Zen Garcia,
Laurel Austin,
Nathan Reynolds. Buy your tickets now at sacredwordrevealed.com.
Decentralized wallet, that is most certainly the way to go. Just because people catch you, or if you are traveling with a hardware wallet, then they could forcefully torture you, or try to get you to even give up. And that also, having something like that also lets them know that you have digital currency. And so so can you talk a little bit more about how the Monarch wallet works, and with the decentralization of it and all that?
Yeah. So, I mean, essentially, Monarch is non-custodial. We don't ever have access to your funds, period, at all. You can go to the Apple Store, or you can go to Google Play, and you can download our wallets right now. It's decentralized. So what that means is there's no central authority. Think like a central authority would be like Chase Manhattan, right? So Bank of America, Wells Fargo, those people have access and control of your funds. And if you're a bad actor, they can freeze those funds. With Monarch, that's impossible. We don't have your name. We don't have your information. Anybody can download it, start using it today. What it is it's a decentralized wallet, meaning that there's no central authority, but it's more of a viewer into the blockchain, and you're actually storing your cryptocurrency on the respective blockchains. You're not storing it on Monarch. So people think instantly, oh, it's a wallet, so I'm storing my money in it. No, Monarch Wallet is actually a viewer into the blockchain and allows you to transact with your cryptocurrency in a decentralized manner. So when you create a 12-word seed, which is how you own your Monarch wallets, 12 words, all the cryptocurrencies that you put in there that are supported by Monarch are yours and yours alone. And those 12 words, if Monarch goes out of business tomorrow or something like that, you could go find another decentralized wallet that uses a 12-word seed, and whatever cryptocurrencies that company or that wallet supports, when you put those 12 words into it, just like magic, whatever cryptocurrency you had, with Monarch, or you're able to see with Monarch, you'll be able to see with that other wallet. So a lot of people are always worried about, 9 out of 10 businesses fail. How do we know you're not going to fail? It's like, well, you're the Monarch. It's your seed. You can put it on any other decentralized wallet, and as long as they support those cryptocurrencies, they're going to pop up on that wallet. So with these 12 words, it gives you the ultimate power to basically go anywhere in the world, and you don't even need your phone, any kind of hardware device, or anything like that whatsoever. You got those 12 words. You can write it down. You can keep it safe. Don't ever lose it, because if you lose it, you're screwed, because Monarch can never give you back your money. We can't. Right. 12 words are. You have to know it. It seems very silly that you have something as high tech as this, where you have to use a pen and paper, or something along those lines, or your memory to keep these 12 words safe. But those 12 words are what gives you access to your funds. So if you know what those 12 words are and you recite them to memory, you can essentially walk across any border in the world. And this works really well for people in China. They could just go anywhere in the world, and they're not carrying, suitcases full of cash, or gold bars or any of that kind of stuff. They got the 12 words. They hit the next border. They go get themselves a little crappy throwaway, smartphone, download a wallet, put those 12 words in it, and boom, like magic, the money's right there, and they're able to start transacting in commerce, which is incredible. This is something this type of freedom has never been available. Right. Ever. And so that's one of the reasons why Bitcoin is so incredible. Mm-hmm. That's how it started. It started with Bitcoin, and then all these federal governments and whatnot, they realized how cool cryptocurrency is. And so now they're all doing their own cryptocurrencies as well, whether it's China or US or the Petro. I mean, they have all kinds of crazy stuff that they're doing, all based off of Bitcoin's original technology that all these other countries are now integrating, because one of the things that I've said from the very beginning is cryptocurrency is either the greatest freedom of the people or the largest enslaver of the people. Because with cryptocurrency, It all depends on the blockchain itself. So a decentralized blockchain, I don't want to go too deep here for anybody to go too deep into the weeds, but a decentralized cryptocurrency, let's just say Bitcoin, the blockchain itself is running the same code. And what I mean by that is, let's say there's 5,000 or 50,000 or 100,000 people out there all supporting the Bitcoin network. They're all running the same code, and they're all basically in competition with each other to process transactions. And whoever can process the transactions the fastest that are, correct, they're rewarded in Bitcoin. So they're actually paid, these computers, these people, these miners, they're actually paid in Bitcoin to keep the system alive, healthy, and secure. And as they validate transactions, the money, a portion of money, like 6.5 Bitcoin, goes to whoever validates the first block. So I don't want to get too deep in this, because I know when I talk to my parents about this stuff, they're in their 70s, it starts going over their heads. So I'm trying to dumb this way down. So with decentralized blockchains, imagine 5,000 or 50,000 different people all running the same code that they all can validate that it is true and correct. Now you have what's called a centralized blockchain, which is something that you'll see with like banks, where it'll be their computers within the walls of their bank, and they're all going to be running the same code, but only they have access to it, and only they can see it, and only they control it. That's centralized. With decentralized, like I said, out of those 5,000 or 50,000 people, no one person controls it. They're all being rewarded if they're doing good work. And the person that does the work the fastest and gets it done quickest, whether it's a pool of people all working together to do it, they're rewarded in Bitcoin. So anyways, not to go too deep in the weeds, for your listeners, I know this is not a subject you guys talk much on, but decentralized is what you really want with a currency. However, you want to make sure that there's enough support behind the currency. Bitcoin is incredible because it has a lot of support. It has a lot of people running the same code. If you find a decentralized cryptocurrency and they're just touting, well, it's decentralized, but there's only 2 people using it, one bad actor could come in and steal all the cryptocurrency because there's not enough support for it. So you got to be really careful what decentralized cryptocurrency you're backing, or you're believing in, or you're putting your money in. You have to realize there's, they can be hacked if there's not enough support. So it's called hash power. I don't want to dive in. I know I'm going to lose your audience. So I don't want to dive into hash power and how that all works, but essentially you want a really strong, well-used, decentralized blockchain to put if you're ever going to put money in crypto, if that's what you want to do, then you want to find something like a Bitcoin that has a lot of support, a lot of people behind it, and they're not, centralized actors. You know what I mean? They're not like, yeah, there's a lot of support behind it, but it's all, JP Morgan, right?
Right.
You want to make sure just look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the best. It's the greatest. The only thing that I've always cautioned people about with Bitcoin is that there are core developers that still work on Bitcoin. So don't think for a second Bitcoin couldn't crash, or they couldn't have bugs, or there couldn't be inflation bugs to where it exceeds the 21 million if the core devs have a bad day. That's why I've been like one of the first advocates I can ever think of that just is touting leave Bitcoin alone. Just leave, like Britney Spears, leave Britney alone. Well, leave Bitcoin alone. Just leave it alone. Don't mess with it. People can use it as is. If they want to make it any bit better, they can increase the block size so transactions will go through a little bit faster. But don't mess with the underlying code. There's other cryptocurrencies that they can go crazy with and do all that kind of stuff with. Because can you imagine if, let's say, for instance, the core developers, they put another bug in Bitcoin and people lose all their Bitcoin, what that's going to do to the crypto space, what it's going to do to all the people out there that have been putting their hard-earned money into it, or the institutions that have been using it as now a new asset class. So I don't want to see the core devs screw with Bitcoin. I don't want to go too deep into any of this stuff for you guys, but just know that there is a core team of people that their only incentive to make Bitcoin better is if they have a big bag of Bitcoin. If not, then they're probably working on their own projects, and so they're probably not going to give Bitcoin the attention it deserves. And things can happen, just like we saw in 2017, where they could have made 200 trillion Bitcoin, right? It could have been horrible. But a developer was, savvy enough to read through the hundreds of thousands of lines of code and see the mistake and fix it before it became a real problem for the world. So don't mess with Bitcoin is what I'm trying to say. Unless you want to increase the block sizes, that's it. Other than that, leave it alone. Use other cryptocurrencies. This is a message to anybody in the development community out there in cryptocurrency. Again, if they haven't heard me say it a couple 100,000 times.
Wow, that's amazing that somebody was able to find and to fix that and to to keep all that as far as having integrity to maintain the code in the way that Nakamoto had envisioned it. But with regard to cryptocurrencies and yourself, what do you invest in any alternative coins? Do you support Ethereum, Litecoin, any of those other projects or others? Do you see a usefulness to some of the other cryptocurrencies that are out there, or are you basically like a Bitcoin maximalist and find most of them worthless and just kind of meaningless?
I think about 99% of them will be worthless or meaningless. But there is that 1%, just like you see in business, right? How many Amazons are there, right?
Right, yeah.
I think that there's still a lot of people out there that are trying to catch that Bitcoin wagon they missed, and so now there's people that come out and they say, hey, this coin can possibly do 3,000x or whatever their crazy predictions are. I tend to just look at 3 coins. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash. I've invested in a lot of other cryptocurrencies. I'm not going to get into those because I don't want anybody getting hurt because they're super volatile.
Yeah.
For anybody that wants to do their own research, which they absolutely should, before they start looking into altcoins or even Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, it was at $20,000, dropped to $3,000. That's a $17,000 freaking loss.
Right.
When you buy it. So this is all super volatile. All of it could go to zero tomorrow. None of us knows. So anybody that's giving you predictions saying, coin XYZ is going to make it to, a gazillion dollars or whatever, they probably have a big bag of that currency and they're just trying to pump it up. And
yes,
they have a number in their head, and once it hits that, they're going to dump it. And they don't care who they hurt. So I'm not telling you that any of these cryptocurrencies are going to go up in value. What I will say, the 3 that I do like, that I think offer value, would be Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash. So Bitcoin Cash is kind of a fork of Bitcoin. The people that were behind the original Bitcoin, whether it be Gavin Andresen, who Satoshi Nakamoto gave the keys to Bitcoin to, he supports Bitcoin Cash, right? He left the core dev team of Bitcoin because he didn't like what they were doing, because they were trying to monetize Bitcoin for other businesses, whether it be Blockstream or things like that. They were trying to make money outside of Bitcoin, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a capitalist, economy and country. But the main people behind the original Bitcoin went to Bitcoin Cash. So whether it's Gavin Andresen, whether it's Roger Ver, they went with Satoshi's original vision, so to speak, and they tried to create a currency that allows for basically instantaneous transaction of value. With Bitcoin, if everybody started using it, it would crash. It would slow to a halt. It wouldn't crash per se, but it would just slow to a halt, to where the transaction fees would be super high, and it would cost you a lot of money and time just to get any amount of Bitcoin. So whether it costs you a crazy high transaction fees, it might take you a couple of days to get your money. You might as well just use a wire transfer service at this point, right? Where Bitcoin Cash solves those issues. Ethereum, I like Ethereum because it's the world's first smart contract that actually worked. So, it actually allows you in a smart contract in blockchain, just to put it as simply as I can. With Bitcoin, if I sent you a Bitcoin, you got it. There's no bringing it back. Doesn't matter if you don't pay me or you give me the service that I paid for. So say, for instance, I sent you a Bitcoin for a car. You never gave me the car. Well, I'm out of Bitcoin. With a smart contract, it puts terms and conditions in between the transactions. So you can say, I'm going to send you, 100 Ethereum, and you'll receive that 100 Ethereum once these conditions are met. Once those conditions are met, then you'll receive the money. So it allows for like a middleman of sorts that is not a human, that is just simply a line of code like Google. It is just simply code that once the conditions are met, the value is then transferred to the other party. So that is super important. It's something that has all kinds of crazy cool things that could be implemented into the blockchain itself for things outside of currency, just with contracts for attorneys or farm to fork, all kinds of different things that would allow you to do this. So those are the three that I really appreciate and see value in. There's a lot of other things out there like privacy coins, privacy tokens. They offer value as well for people that want their transactions completely hidden or obscured so nobody can see them. Because with Bitcoin, any transaction you send on the blockchain is transparent for the entire world to see. So if I send you 1 Bitcoin for that car, they're going to see that my address sent 1 Bitcoin to your address. And if they know, Zen's Bitcoin address, they're going to know that, hey, well, that's Zen and he just got, 1 Bitcoin. And if they know Beadles' Bitcoin address, well, now they know Beadles just sent Zen 1 Bitcoin. So if you don't want that level of transparency, then there's other alternative coins out there. I don't want to get into that kind of stuff because it can be used for nefarious things. But for people that want the, I guess the anonymity that people think Bitcoin has, it's not really there. It's really with these other privacy coins and tokens. And so there are some value in things like that. But again, it's not one of those speculative assets like Bitcoin. Bitcoin, enough big banks and institutions feel that it's going to be worth more in the future than it is now. So they're putting a lot of money into it. With these privacy coins and privacy tokens, they're not doing that. They're worried about regulators coming in and regulating the crap out of them, or even shutting them down altogether, or moving them off of exchanges. So they're actually, even more scary to put your money in. But for people that want that level of anonymity, then it's there.
Well, what do you think about as far as, with regard to most of the public not being involved in the space, and how it has only become easier to invest in Bitcoin, and that, in all the institutions, the Wall Street and things of that nature are starting to want to get involved, and people that have a lot of money, even if they were to put 5% of their assets into it. Do you think that this is going to drive up the price of Bitcoin, or where do you see the space growing? Because really, it's only 320 some billions of dollars. It's still very small with regard to the size of like those that invest in gold or technology companies or anything of that nature, even S&P ETFs, things of that nature.
Yeah, so there's a couple things here. Obviously with gold, what is it, like $6-7 trillion market or something like that. Obviously stocks and bonds are far above that. Bitcoin is very new, considerably speaking. So more people are going to be putting money into it. And typically, when people start putting more money into the cryptocurrency, it's a weird rule of thumb, and I know that's even a bad thing to say with leftists because of what the rule of thumb means. But there's kind of a, for every dollar you put into the cryptocurrency market cap, it raises it about $50. So knowing that, at least historically, 35 to 50 times what a dollar's worth. So every dollar you put in, it raises the market cap $35 to $50 historically. So with all these different institutions coming in and putting money into at least the major cryptocurrencies, it's going to raise the market cap, historically speaking, which historically speaking would then also rise the prices of those cryptocurrencies that they're buying. So it's only going to get more and more attention as more and more money comes into it. As more and more governments start creating their own cryptocurrencies, it's going to become kind of like China. I don't know if you've been to China, but when I was there, everybody pays with their phone, everything. So they're using digital money already. They're not using paper money. They're not using credit cards, using WePay, Alipay, all kinds of stuff to actually transact there. So they're ahead of us in the curve when it comes to electronic or digital money, so to speak. And so you're going to start seeing that more here in the U.S. You're going to see a lot more adoption of digital currencies, I would say within the next year or two. And you're going to see things like these cryptocurrencies, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash. You're going to see more of those things being accepted at banks. You're going to see more custodial options for investors or just for the average person with their banks, with the cryptocurrencies. So you're going to start right now is you got to understand how this stuff works. You need to start, playing with it a little bit, because this is the next wave. This is the removal of kind of the envelope and replacing with email. That's what's happening right now with credit cards, checks, cash. It's all going the way of cryptocurrency. You're going to see this over the next couple of years, if not sooner. It's already live in China now. It's already being tested by some of the biggest corporations over there with the Chinese, their government-backed cryptocurrency. So long story short, crypto is going to be unavoidable. It's going to be in every asset or every facet of our lives. We're going to be transacting using it, whether it's in the next 2 years or 3 years, whatever. It's unescapable. What you're going to see happen is there's going to be more regulation, more clarity that's going to come from these different governments on how cryptocurrencies outside of their own cryptocurrency, how they're going to be treated, how they're going to be taxed, how they're going to be regulated, all that kind of stuff. So it's still very, very new, but the technology itself is going to get better and easier for people to use, similar to like using Facebook. It's going to be, you don't know how that, I've said this for years, you don't know how when you hit that little thumbs up button, it works. You don't understand all the coding behind it. It's going to be the same thing. You don't know how you're sending value to another person. You're just able to do it just intuitively. And that's
Hey there, brother.
the more simplistic.
Okay, sorry, we lost you for a second.
Year or two before, this is just everywhere.
Yeah, I kind of see it almost like, when the internet and all the technology stocks and all that started to boom in the 90s, and a lot of people started to invest. There was, America Online and Amazon and things of that nature, Priceline and, others that did survive all of that, but a lot of that disappeared. We seem to be kind of in that same place with crypto.
Yeah, no, that's a good analogy. There's so many things that are coming out or that came out that are gone, whether it's the MySpaces, right, that were replaced by the Facebooks. There's a lot of that stuff going on within the space. But the biggest thing is with all the stuff that people are talking about within cryptocurrency, none of it works amazing yet. That's the biggest downfall. So right now, it's mostly used for speculation. That's why when we created Monarch Pay, we use stable coins and stable tokens to transact business. What does that mean? So a stable coin or a stable token is essentially pegged or backed by, in theory, $1 US worth of value. So for every DAI or for any TUSD or whatever it is, any of these stable coins, stable tokens, they're supposed to have $1 of backing behind it. Why is this important? Well, if you're a merchant and you're transacting in Bitcoin or Ethereum or Bitcoin Cash or any of that stuff for actual like commerce, if you're a merchant and Bitcoin just had a 30% dump, the morning of you got to make payroll, well, now you're out 30%. And how owning a business with fixed expenses and budgets, how are you going to cover that 30% loss? Stable coins and stable tokens, it's like trading dollars. So that's what Monarch Pay uses. So that way merchants don't have to worry about that volatility. But again, all this stuff is still super new. Most people are using this solely as, just a means of speculation. It's another asset class. A lot of people say it's uncorrelated to markets, but as you can see right now, it's going up in value or in price, not necessarily value. It's going up in price because we've seen Steve Mnuchin and all those cats, they're in charge of the Fed now, and so they're printing a crap ton of money that it's not sustainable what they're doing right now. And
Right.
if you follow Trump, you'll know that he is very big in assets. He's very big in kind of the anti-Fed. And what's happened since the first time since 1913 is the Treasury now controls the Federal Reserve. I don't know whether you know that or not, but
I did hear something about that, which, yeah, that definitely we're almost at break, but that's something that I would like to speak more on, if that really did go down, and how if that is the truth of the matter. But we will be right back. We got 3 seconds before break, so hold on to your thought, brother. We'll be right back, everyone, for a second hour.
The seeker of lost paradise may seem a fool to those who have never sought the other worlds. Christ told us in Revelation 2, "Remember from whence thou art fallen, and do the first works." What many people don't realize about the fall of humanity is that Adam and Eve were initially bright-natured, and that they were placed into the garden of God to dress and tend it, and that being deceived and tempted and eating from the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, that in that moment that you touch thereof you shall die, that they come under the authority of death in those moments, and since their fall have been banished from the place of the immortals. This concept becomes very clear in the work of the forgotten Edenic books of Adam and Eve. And as we study and read into this material, this knowledge will come to light, and it will help you to understand that being restored to our right nature, our first estate through Christ, that the reason he had to take on embodiment and enter into mortal flesh form was in order to not only redeem the ancestors of Adam, the children of light, but also to rectify us and to restore us to our first estate in this manner, defeating death and bringing forth salvation with the promise of the cross.
Many truth seekers are constantly studying alone. But there is a place where we can come together. The Digital Readers Club is our online ecclesia meant for those who've forsaken churchianity but still want the closeness of a family to study with. Join us every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time to put together the puzzle pieces of truth scattered throughout the ancient scriptures. Every day, questions arise.
Are the stories in the Bible true?
What if I told you that there are hundreds of confirming witnesses?
which give intricate detail to the stories in the Bible.
Have you ever found yourself deep in the rabbit hole with questions that no one seemed to have the answers to? Join us every other Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for our Ask Me Anything series with author and researcher Zen Garcia, as he sheds light on the mysteries which have us all searching together.
Sacred Word Revealed.
Comes to Atlanta, Georgia.
On September 11th to the 13th, 2020.
Purpose to reveal end time mysteries.
To prepare the final generation,
We must don the full armor of God.
featuring Zen Garcia,
Dr. Joy Pugh,
Rob Skiba,
Gary Wayne,
Yana Ben Nun,
Stephen Benoon,
Dr. Stephen Pigeon,
Justin Garcia,
Laurel Austin,
Nathan Reynolds. Buy your tickets now at sacredwordrevealed.com.
Joined by my guest this evening, Crypto Beadle, and we're talking about the Trump taking over the Federal Reserve. And I did hear about this several weeks back, and had been wondering if this was true and if this is something that did occur. That could be a really good thing for America. And so can you talk about this story and also how you heard and why you think that this is the truth of the situation?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Trump and you look at his track record of, building empires, so to speak, with assets and his relationship with bankers, and he kind of knows how everything works, right? And so if you notice what he's doing right now, he's just basically printing a crap ton of cash, giving it to people, giving it to small businesses, creating, revamping Kodak, for instance, where he gave them like $700 million to basically create HCQ or hydroxychloroquine. We probably shouldn't talk about that on the channel here, but he's printing all this money. And the reason why I think that he controls the Fed is because Powell, with the Federal Reserve, said that he works for Steve Mnuchin, and Steve Mnuchin works for Donald Trump. And so this is the first time in the history, since 1913 at least, since the Fed was created, that very, very late night while everybody was sleeping, this is the first time that the Federal Reserve has actually been working for the people, whether it comes with the PPP money, whether it comes with extended unemployment benefits, whether it comes with all the infrastructure that he's building, all the printing that he's doing. And then he's putting he's trying to get her affirmed by the Senate right now, who is a huge gold bug. And so if she is able to be, brought in by the Senate, if she's confirmed by the Senate, then she has a history of being a big gold bug. And so from what I've heard, it appears that Trump is using the dollars that the bankers created, the Fed created, to kind of build back America, make America great again. And then he's going to, within the next year or 3 years, something like that, if he's reelected, God willing, he'll actually create a currency that, like our Constitution and our forefathers wanted, that is basically in some part backed by assets, whether it's backed by gold or silver, metals, who knows, some type of assets. Could be corporations. I have no idea what they're thinking, but it appears that there's going to be another currency that's going to replace the dollar. I mean, it'll still be the dollar, it'll just have a different backing versus just being backed by a military, and people's idea of it being worth something. It appears that they're creating something that's going to be actually asset backed. And that's just coming from the actual commentary I've heard from the actual people at the Fed, or from people at the Treasury, and from Trump's past actions and what he's doing currently. So it appears that that's what's happening. And so the majority of the world don't know that. They don't see that. They don't pay as close attention to things as maybe other people. And so with all the printing of money, you're seeing, the stock market, it's getting infused into that. We're seeing all-time highs in NASDAQ. We're seeing, the New York Stock Exchange doing well. It's almost as well as before, CV19 hit. And you're seeing, the price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies and things like that go up. So there's a bigger play, I believe, that's going to be unveiled to the people over the next couple of years. And it's going to end up, once it's unveiled, it's going to end up being some kind of asset-backed currency that is probably going to be cryptocurrency as well, but it's going to be something asset-backed, probably gold, or just metals, bonds, something. I don't know exactly, but I feel that that's coming just based off of, the research that I've done.
One of my listeners did inform me as well that the Federal Reserve, the website, that it is now .gov, and whereas it had been a private corporation for the European bankers, Rothschilds, and all of that. And but the one thing with regard to that that I find difficult is that to conceptualize is that Andrew Jackson, he was killed for fighting against the central bankers, and also Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy, when they started to print money that was treasury backed and not through the Federal Reserve System, that they were basically taken out for having done so. And so it seems to me like the bankers would not give up so easily. And how is it that they would surrender such power? Because but they basically controlled and could print the money and make all this wealth out of nothing. And for Trump to have taken over and to affirm the Federal Reserve for the American people, which I would most certainly be in favor of that. But why no backlash if this is what occurred?
Well, don't think for a second they're not going to go down with a fight, because as you mentioned, the multiple attempts on Jackson's life, whether it was Kennedy, whether it was Lincoln with the greenbacks. No, you're absolutely right. These people do not go down without a fight, and don't think for a second that they're not going to here as well. All you have to do is look at the mainstream media. Everything is just orange man bad. Everything that Trump talks about is bad. They're attacking him on multiple different fronts, and this will continue. However, at the end of the day, he has the most power any president has ever had in the history of our country. A lot of people don't realize that all 50 states have basically granted him absolute power. So right now he has power to do all kinds of stuff. And so you're seeing that with all these executive orders that he's doing. And now when you look at, Kennedy, for instance, Kennedy was a man of the people. He had his flaws for sure. But he, basically disbanded the Federal Reserve. He was assassinated that day. Johnson from, Air Force One enacted, Act 1111, which reinstituted the Federal Reserve. So we know this stuff happens. We know that they won't go down without a fight. But right now, this is the first time it's ever happened to where we've ever gotten this far, to where it's actually, you can actually see that this is actually real. We're seeing him. He's kind of got people, and I don't know how much you follow like the Q community and things like that, but there's arrests going on all over the world. There's people that, you're not seeing this stuff in the mainstream media. There's people dying, people resigning. It looks like he's got an amazing team behind him, essentially pulling the trigger the whole way through as he's doing what he's doing. And I don't know for sure any of this stuff is true. This is just, my research, and it's fringe for sure. But, God's got a plan. I think that, the people win in the end. And I think that most of the stuff that, we're afraid of right now, I think is going to end up being okay. I would think in the next couple of years. And I think we're going to have, a great life, for most of at least the U.S. and for most of the world over the next 3 years. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be very trying. I think there's going to be a lot of things that are scary, that are going to make people, question everything, whether it's, all the stuff that you hear on the news with this COVID-19, the masks, how infectious this stuff is. When you look at the actual mortality rate, it's less than the common flu. It's less than influenza.
Right.
Everything is just getting lumped into the COVID, category. So it looks like it's worse than it is. And so there's a lot of scared people out there, and, and for good reason. If they're tuning into the mainstream media, they're hearing, one side of things that's coming from the same people you're talking about. And why would they let this happen? And so they're just attacking from a different front. I've heard that there's been multiple attempts on Trump's life. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I've heard. I don't have any evidence of the sort. But again, they're not going to go down without a fight if this is true. And again, this is just the research that I've done, and everybody needs to do their own. But to me, it sounds like and it looks like that we're going to have a new currency the next couple of years, and it looks like Trump is trying to lay the foundation to essentially make America great again, whether you like him or hate him.
Well, I do like that he is a nationalist and that he is focused on America and trying to, prevent the manufacturing base from continuing to move overseas, and then a lot of the CAFTA and NAFTA, all of that has been as far as stripped and changed, and so that's been a positive thing for America as well. And so, yeah, I do hope that some of this does come into play, and I hope that he does make strides for helping America to take back its power. It's just, for me, I've always had difficulty, with regard to the false left-right paradigm, controlled opposition, and all of that. But I know a lot of people do have great confidence and trust in Trump, and so I do hope that there is something to all of that. With regard to the Q stuff, I don't follow a lot of it, and I do have a friend that I do shows once a month with that she's been following it for 3 years now and is pretty up on all that and has been doing shows where we cover some of that, and I do have a lot of listeners that are big time Q supporters, and they're very vocal about their support of Trump and Q. And so what do you think about the Nasara and all of that? Do you think that this could be part of what could be the unfolding of this new currency and the rebalancing of the economic system and the way that the financial institutions are? And also wanted to ask you if you know anything about this other individual.
You're cutting in and cutting out on me.
Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine. Okay, so I'll try to speak maybe a little bit slower. With regard to that, and also, do you know anything about this King John III? So Nasara and King John III.
Yeah, no, I'm not familiar with that. What you got for me?
Okay, well, Nasara is just something that the Q people have been talking about, and it is let me actually pull it up. It stands for the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, and that supposedly it's supposed to bring in a whole new currency. The currency is going to be backed by some kind of asset, and that this has been something supposedly pushed for, and that they've been trying to get it into play for a very long time, even before Trump. I mean, this is going back to the 1990s, it says. But so I was just asking if you knew anything about it.
No, I'm not familiar with that. I don't follow Q as much as a lot of people out there. Like our good buddy Red Pill and Medic and all those guys. They're very in tune to it. Me, I just have kind of a basic following, basic understanding, of some of the stuff that they talk about there. But no, I'm not really familiar with that. I just from my research and seeing what Trump says, what he does, his people around him, what the Fed is saying, the people he's trying to put on the governing board of the Fed, what their background is, things like that lead me to believe that we will have an asset-backed currency in the next, 1 to 3 years, something like that.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, I'll just read a little bit more of this from Wikipedia as far as Nasara. It says, the National Economic Security and Recovery Act was a set of proposed economic reforms for the United States suggested during the 1990s by Harvey Francis Bernard. These proposals include replacing the income tax with a national sales tax, abolishing compound interest on secured loans, returning to a bimetallic currency, would result in 0% inflation and a more stable economy. These proposals were never introduced before Congress, but NESARA has since become better known as, well, some other name, but that's kind of the basics on all of this. And so we'll see if there's anything to it. And with regard to this guy, King John III, supposedly he's the rightful monarch of Great Britain, and that the royal family is going to step down, and that Trump has recognized him, and supposedly he will have something to do with this NESARA and all of that as well. But, you know, that all remains to be seen. We'll see what happens. But let's talk a little bit about how you came to, as far as just awakening to truth and your, your kind of journey to that. Was 9/11 a big kind of wake-up call for you, or how did all that unfold for you?
Yeah, so I mean, kind of a lot here. So everything you just said right there, sounds very interesting. There's a lot of things that I've heard Kudlow say, a lot of things that I've heard, people in the Trump administration talk about that kind of echo some of the things you were speaking about there. But I don't know if any of this is going to come to pass. I mean, it sounds cool.
Right.
I mean, as far as me, I've been with my wife since we were 14 years old, right?
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, we got married 17 with our first kid, and I just had to figure out a way to take care of him. And so I'd always had kind of a background in software and in construction. I know that's kind of a weird mix. So I ended up creating a construction company and made it to one of the largest in California, construction service company, one of the largest in California, and then created a software company and things like that. And I've always been one of those guys that likes to read. I don't even have a high school diploma. I have an adult school diploma. Didn't go to college. I had to figure out how I was going to take care of people. So most of the things that I've learned has come from my own research, from reading, not really listening to what other people say, more so as to what they do. And so when it came to like 9/11, for instance, I remember exactly where I was at when that happened. I remember looking into it deeply because it was against what everybody else was saying. And so most people on your channel here, they probably know that it's probably not the mainstream version of what happened. I mean, all you have to do is look at Building 7 and the architects, engineers for 9/11, and you'll realize that the thousands of architects and engineers that all say this stuff couldn't have happened, it speaks for itself. The hearing that they had not too long ago with their findings, that speaks for itself. Building 7 never being struck by a plane, falling, I mean, that speaks for itself. So the narrative is screwed up. That we're being lied to. We know that most every war that we've ever been entered into, has been under a false narrative, let's just say. And so I've always been just kind of a skeptical person in nature, just because people's motives, right? Everybody usually has a motive for the most part, and so it's good to have a healthy bit of skepticism in you. And when you see something that just doesn't make any sense at all, you start digging deep. And so that's what I did anyways. So I wrote a book in, 2010 called Here's What You Do. I touch on some of this stuff there. I touch about gold, silver, even touch on 9/11 a little bit. Because people were asking me how I made my money and how they can make money for themselves as well. I've myself and my companies have generated hundreds of millions of dollars. We've been, very successful, thank God. And so we just try to give back. And so in doing my research, been able to kind of see a different perspective, so to speak, from the mainstream media. And it's a rabbit hole. So I don't know how deep you want to go, but when you talk about like 9/11, for instance, I mean, there's a rabbit hole there all in itself, and everything from there to now, there's so many things. You look at people like Tom Hanks, becoming a Greece citizen. You look at, like Pedogate. You look at Hollywood. You look at all these crazy things and all this stuff that just makes you scratch your head. All the missing children. When you start going down that rabbit hole, it's very deep. It's very dark. So when you have a mind that is always working and is always wanting more information and always wanting to know the big picture, it's kind of hard to turn it off. And so I've been kind of blessed that way to where I've always been able to kind of learn things on my own through research. And it's no different with this. This is something that, it's a dark and scary place out there in the world. And I know in the end, God wins, and that's what really matters. And it's up to us to try to wake as many people up as possible and get them to know that as well, and
yes.
and kind of start voicing their opinions versus worried about being condemned, or the cancel culture, or people attacking them physically, or just online or whatever. People need to speak up and say, look, this isn't right. There's stuff going on here that it obviously isn't what they're saying it is. And I know a lot of people feel that, and more people need to speak up about it. And right now we're seeing a lot of that, but then you're also seeing like the big tech tyrants, all your Googles, your Facebooks, your Twitters, all those types of guys, censoring people, that start speaking out about this stuff. It's a little frustrating. But it's good to know that there's so many people out there that are waking up to all this injustice, to all this satanic culture. And we all know God wins in the end, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So with regard to, as far as, awakening with 9/11 and all of that, what also did you get interested in? Because the whole rabbit hole goes very deep. And did you hear anything about the whole Wayfair, all of that stuff that just recently came up with the disappeared kids and these cabinets, $15,000 and all of that, and having the names of some of these kids that went missing? Any ideas on all that?
Yeah. So again, so when you go from the 9/11 to Wayfair, there's a lot of craziness that happened in between.
Oh yeah.
If you go back to some of the very beginnings with Trump, whether he's talking about vaccines, and this is way before President Trump. These are tweets from 2012, to whether it's human trafficking, to whether it's the child abuse.
Yeah, the Pizzagate and all that.
Yep, all that stuff. And so you don't see the mainstream media really covering any of this kind of things. But there are media outlets out there that every single day they're reporting, like 17 people arrested in, child pedo ring, 300 people arrested here in human trafficking. This is going on all the time. And with Wayfair, it appears that it was just hidden in plain sight, if the rumors are true. And from what I've seen, and from when I've actually seen the prices and things changing, it appears that it is super sick, super twisted, and I hope to God they all go to hell, painfully, for sure. It's is that they're basically just human trafficking. They're selling children, and they just you order a locker and you open it up and there's a little kid inside of it. That's what it appears. That's pretty horrific, and why the mainstream media isn't covering this, I think, kind of speaks volumes, because there's so many people out there, independent journalisms and journalists, and all the things that we've seen, that if anybody with even half a brain, they saw what we've been shown, they would have a crap ton of questions, and there needs to be answers. And these people should be in front of Congress right now. These people should be, being waterboarded or something, right? I mean, this isn't good, right? I mean, this is some satanic crap that And it looks really horrible. It probably is extremely horrible. And just like Occam's razor, the simplest answer is probably the correct one, right? And so
right.
It's like they got caught red-handed.
Yeah, and it seems like if the source, and as far as the testimony of that it was Ghislaine Maxwell. Yeah, the girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein.
Today, all of her documents get unsealed.
Really? Wow.
Yep. So we're waiting to see what the devil's been up to. Yeah. So today was the unveiling, basically the uncensoring, where they're supposed to release all the documents. I have the correspondence right here on my phone. I actually took a screenshot of it. It's I don't know if you can see this or not, but it basically says this was Maxwell's counsel trying to address the judge, basically begging for basically a stay of sorts, and then with the judge saying, at this juncture, the court has determined that an emergency conference is not necessary. Counsel shall proceed with unsealing as previously ordered.
Nice.
Today, New York, July 30th, 2020 by Loretta Preska. So we're going to get to see, hopefully a lot of some of this criminal activity, and hopefully a lot of people, are going to have to pay for their crimes.
Oh, that would be incredible. I would so love that. And then, I hope that there's something more to tearing down the infrastructure of all this child trafficking and the pedophilia networks that have been established and supported by the elites who, believe themselves to be above the law. I would love some justice to be served. And so, hopefully they'll be able to keep her alive, and hopefully she'll keep singing like a bird and really telling the stories of it, because there are some high-level people involved, and her and her ex-fiance or whatever he was, boyfriend, a lot of creepiness involved with them and their particular behaviors and all that they did. And so I bet there's a lot of people sweating over all of that. All right, we'll be right back for final segment.
Sacred Word Revealed
comes to Atlanta, Georgia
on September 11th to the 13th, 2020.
Purpose to reveal end time mysteries.
To prepare the final generation,
we must don the full armor of God.
Featuring Zen Garcia,
Dr. Joy Pugh,
Rob Skiba,
Gary Wayne,
Yana Ben Noon,
Stephen Benoon,
Dr. Stephen Pigeon,
Justin Garcia,
Laurel Austin,
Nathan Reynolds. Buy your tickets now at sacredwordrevealed.com.
Your partnership with Sacred Word Publishing goes further than the publishing of ancient manuscripts and weekly video content.
You also make a huge impact across the earth in orphanages in Myanmar, India, Uganda, and Kenya.
Your support is crucial for the development of the ecclesia of real truth seekers.
We thank you for joining us in hosting Secrets Revealed, Momentary Zen, the Digital Readers Club, Ask Me Anything series, and other shows that have helped lead so many to the truth of salvation.
To become even more involved, please visit patreon.com/sacredwordpublishing, where you can partake in exclusive, interactive, patron-only content and help us continue shining the light of love in this darkened world.
Every day, questions arise.
Are the stories in the Bible true?
What if I told you that there are hundreds of confirming witnesses,
which give intricate detail to the stories in the Bible?
Have you ever found yourself deep in the rabbit hole with questions that no one seemed to have the answers to? Join us every other Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for our Ask Me Anything series with author and researcher Zen Garcia, as he sheds light on the mysteries which have us all searching together. Many truth seekers are constantly studying alone. But there is a place where we can come together. The Digital Readers Club is our online ecclesia meant for those who've forsaken churchianity but still want the closeness of a family to study with. Join us every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time to put together the puzzle pieces of truth scattered throughout the ancient scriptures.
Hello friends, thank you for joining us this evening. I'm your host, Zen Garcia.
All right, welcome back, everybody, for a final segment. Let's talk a little bit about as far as what you see coming down the line, and how you and your family are kind of preparing yourselves for just the uncertainty of these times, and any advice to the listening audience on that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, I'd be happy to get into that. But, like I mentioned just a little while ago, that Maxwell's documents were going to be unsealed. They're all over the web right now. So
yeah, I just pulled that up too. I was looking at it myself.
So right when you asked me, I wonder who's going to be sweating bullets, or who's going to be sweating, from this unveiling. Well, the first one was, I guess, me, Bill Clinton. So
of course.
So not only did he have, I think he had like, what was it, 26 trips on the Lolita Express, but and I'm looking at right now from her sworn testimony says, when you asked him, why is Bill Clinton here, where was here? And she says, on the island. When you were present with Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton on the island, who else was there? And it says Jolene, Emmy, and there were two young girls that I could identify. I never really knew them well anyways. It was just two girls from New York. And there's just document after document after document, Dershowitz, everybody. Wow.
Yes, Dershowitz, right.
There's going to be a lot of content coming out, I would imagine, very, very soon on this. And so I sure hope that, these people definitely see some jail time for their sins, for sure.
Mm-hmm. That would be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, as far as people in general, how to protect themselves, from, not from like sexual exploitation and things like that, but how do they kind of protect themselves from the things that are coming? The first thing, always is trusting God, right? So you have to trust in God. I've always been a firm believer, and you got to work your butt off and trust in God, and he'll bring you victory. So those are some of the things, whether it's, Solomon speaking, it's just always kind of been that way, where I've always found that if I really put my heart and soul into something and I trust in God to bring me victory, he does. So that's one thing right there. For people that are worried about what all the printing of money is, how that can affect them. Well, it can gravely affect them if it's still going to affect them, period. So what they want to do, I was just trying to run through some steps in my mind, but regardless, all the printing of money, there's even when there's going to be exchange someday from this currency to that currency, people are still going to get hurt. So what I've been telling everybody that's close to me is make sure that you're not liquid, that you have your money in assets, because regardless of what currency there is out there, it doesn't matter whether it's dollar A, B, C, D, or E. If you own real estate, or you own gold, or you own silver, or you own true assets, things that have always been worth something, whatever currency comes out, you're going to be able to receive that currency for that asset. So try not to be one of those people that are putting their dollars under the bed. Try to, if they're able to, buy assets now, because I believe that, what was it, like a 28% increase in the currency? So if you have 28% increase in the currency, that would just tell you that the price of these assets have to go up, regardless of what they are. So try not to be liquid. Try to put your money into assets if you can. This isn't financial advice. Everybody has to know how much liquidity they need in their own bank account to cover bills, expenses, food, all that kind of stuff. But wherever they can, try to hold on to assets right now because we're in uncharted waters.
Right.
We're hoping that we're going to end up with a gold back or some kind of asset backed currency. But even still, there's going to be a transition period where there's going to be a lot of money lost between A and B. But if you're in assets right now, and I don't mean junk bonds or crappy stocks, I mean like real tangible assets. At the end of this, you're going to be probably okay. Obviously, we don't know. Like I don't want to start talking about guns and bunkers and all that kind of stuff. I don't think it's going to come to that. But it's always great to have protection at home, as everybody on your channel probably already knows. So always have protection, always have, your basic food, water, all that kind of stuff that you need, because you never know what these people are going to do between now and election time. So it's always good to have stuff like that. But in general, let's just forget about the craziness right now and say, how do you become a millionaire? How do you make a bunch of money? Well, it comes with finding something that you're really good at, and then finding a way to make money through it. A lot of people, they start off in the wrong direction. They're just chasing money. But really what they need to be doing is finding something they're good at. A lot of people call it passion. I call it good at, because you can have a passion for finger painting, right? But until you're dead, your paintings probably aren't going to be worth anything if you look at past performances of artists, right? So find something you're really good at, learn everything that you can about it, go about an inch wide and a mile deep, learn as much as you can, become an authority in it, and try to find a way to monetize that, whether it's in real estate, whether it's in selling insurance, whatever it is. Always try to hone your sales skills, because sales are they're paramount in life. Whether you're trying to get a date with a guy, a girl, whatever, you need to sell yourself. And if you have a product, you have to sell your product. If you have a business, you have to sell your business. So always try to learn sales. Always try to get rid of bad habits and replace them with good habits. Try to get discipline in your life and things like that, to where you set goals, and then you kind of work towards them of sorts. And if things aren't working out, you kind of pivot a little bit. And as long as you're ending up where your vision is, you got little goals that kind of make up your milepost markers, and then you have like your vision, which is your overall goal, like where you want to be in life. Set those little mileposts up, all these little individual goals, and when you hit one, if it's working out, great, go to the next one. If it's not, pivot, go to the next one, to where you end up where you want to be. And education is where this is paramount, right? So you have to constantly be learning. Never think that you know enough. I spend probably half my day learning. I don't care how much money I've made, how much money I'm worth. I'm always trying to learn new things, because everything changes.
Yeah, those are all really great.
Always be learning.
Good advice. Go ahead.
It's just common stuff, common sense stuff, but it's stuff people need to kind of focus on, is the simple things, not some crazy thing like, I'm going to go learn to create my own crypto.
Mm-hmm.
You just find something you're already good at and figure out.
Yeah, I think that's very important. We do have you going in and out a little bit. But yeah, I do agree with you. I think that people need to learn to figure out what they are passionate about, and then how to monetize
Still
that.
there?
But yeah, can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay, yeah,
I've got,
you were going in and out there for a few minutes.
Oh crap! I'm sorry. I got gigabit speed here too, so
it's all good.
It's crazy.
Yeah, no worries. But anyways, yeah, with regard to people finding their niche, that it's important. I think that people, instead of just working for other people, also that they learn to create businesses around their passions, what they are good at, and that there are incentives in this country, and also with regard to the economy, for business owners. And so if people can create a business and even just the write-offs and things of that nature, and trying to get their footing, and to turn an idea into something that would make money. That those kind of things can be beneficial to individuals, but they don't teach you these kind of things in school, and that it is important, and it's not just about education, because you look at all the people that go to school and get degrees and then don't even use them, and then have all of this student debt. They don't realistically teach you in school and through education, to hone and to do things that could really benefit you, in business, owning a business, and having an idea where you're working for yourself, and able to profit and pay your bills, and those kind of things are, I think, very important and critical, and should be, as far as because we have to keep a foot in this world, and we have to make money, we have to pay bills, you have to live within the matrix, within the system, and so learning how to do that, I think, can be very beneficial. And so, on your channel, I do notice that you read, like a life coach. You share and read from books, and you give people ideas and how to visualize, and to set goals, and to work to attaining those kind of goals. And so, can you talk about some of the videos and some of the work that you do on your website, and where, again, people can go to find and listen to your videos?
Yeah, no problem at all. No, like I said in the beginning, it was just all about crypto, just getting people to navigate the waters. Just my friends and family, and it just kind of took off to where we're number 5 in the world for cryptocurrency. And but then the family, the community, they wanted us to start talking more about self-help, so to speak, how to actually make money. And I realize this is kind of a sensitive topic, because a lot of people, especially as Christians, were thought not to basically lust after money. And that's not what this is about. This is about taking care of your family. This is about taking care of the community. This is about taking care of employees, creating value for the world. And so when you're able to actually, have an abundance, you're able to give back. You're able to not only have people that have jobs because of you, you're able to take care of your friends and your family. And while you can't take it with you, you can help a lot of people while you're here. Right. All in God's name. All in God's name. You can give to the church. You can give to the community. And so it's important that people are always trying to better themselves, rather than just say, I work at Subway. I'll get my rewards, when I die and I go to heaven. It's like, okay, cool. But maybe you're meant to be more than that. Maybe you're meant to be greater than just working at Subway. Maybe you could, create, maybe you could have created Subway, right? And you could have created all these franchises for all these franchisees, and created all these jobs for all these employees, and then given, a bunch of your wealth away to worthy causes. So with the self-help stuff, it's basically to empower people to become a better them. It's to allow them to be more than what they currently are, so they can do whatever they want with that money, whether it's to give back to the church, whether it's to give to the community, whether it's to build a legacy for their family, whatever the cause, whatever the reason, it kind of helps them along that road, so to speak. And so we went from speaking primarily about cryptocurrency to now mostly about, self-help, self-improvement, things along those lines that are very, I do it in what's called a quick and dirty way. So you don't have to listen to an hour or 2 hour or 3 hour or 4 hour presentation. I try to give them kind of the meat and potatoes in 5 to 10 minutes, and that's stuff that they can start actually, rather than reading a book over 4 hours, they can actually just take some of the principles from some of these cool books and start, utilizing that within, minutes. As soon as the video is over, they can start, applying that to their lives to help them become more for themselves, as well as their family, the church, the community, whatever. And so we've done a lot of that. We'll bring some more crypto stuff in, because I've been getting hit up more and more about people wanting to know more about cryptocurrency. Like, we're giving away $50,000 right now on the Monarch wallets. People that download the Monarch wallet, we're giving away $50,000 worth of tokens to people that just claim them. They just hit a little claim button, and they get it's spread out amongst however many people claim it. And we do this all the time. On every one of our videos, we give away, free crypto. So that way people can start getting into cryptocurrency without having to buy it. They don't have to worry about any kind of risk. They're getting free cryptocurrency. So we do a lot of that, those giveaways. We give away, shirts and hats and books and cryptocurrency, right? So we do a lot of that stuff. I'm super easy to find. If they go to cryptobeadles.com, there's a link there to all my different social platforms, and it's easy to find.
Awesome. That's wonderful, brother. And yeah, that's, in my opinion, people don't have to struggle. It's just learning again how to work the matrix and how to, not that, we want to be good tax-paying citizens or whatever. Yeah, that's part of it. We have to, again, live in this world. We have to pay our bills. But personally, myself also, being kingdom oriented, still, I do want to be able to give and to help and to support the less fortunate. And so we have, created and installed into our business model with regard to Sacred Word Publishing. We have a built-in tithe where we support, orphanages around the world and giving to people that are in need. And in the scriptures it says that it's blessed to give more than to receive. And so I do believe that the way that the Most High God has it set up in the way that we are to help and support one another is by paying it forward and helping each other, those that are less fortunate, and that God has it established that the more you give and the more you bless others, that's really the way to abundance, and that he will pour out the blessings upon individuals that are like that and that live like that, which is completely contrary to the mindset of the whole way that they have it established, that the way to get ahead is by taking advantage of others, or being dirty in business, or being competitive in mindset. And so, those kind of things, a lot of people do apply that kind of logic to the way that they engage and interact in, business and with their employees. But I think that's a fallacy and completely unbiblical with regard to the model and the teaching of the word with regard to giving, and that giving is the way to receive according to the scriptures, in my opinion.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more when it comes to just from my own experiences. Whenever I'm having issues or anything like that whatsoever, I notice that the more I give, the more I receive. So whenever it is that I talk to God every day in my brain, but whenever I'm having problems or anything like that, like we all do, it seems like the more that I give, the more that I get back. It's almost selfish in a way.
Right.
It doesn't matter the amount that I'm talking about, but it just seems like the more that we give, the more that we get back. And so I 100% agree with that. And we're only here for a little while, and so the best thing we can do is try to add value to the world and give back as much as we can, and try to bring as many people to Christ as we possibly can. And that definitely goes against the culture in the Silicon Valley from where from where a lot of the tech is at. So I'm usually the only Christian in the conference. So I'm usually the person they look at as a crazy person, right? So it's not saying, buy this coin, it's going to moon, it's going to go crazy. I'm like, hey guys, why don't you just be a little bit real about this stuff? There's a good chance that somebody's going to make a lot of money on that, and it's not going to be you. So,
right.
Be careful. Let's kind of plan for the long term. Let's not plan for next week. All right. So that goes against a lot of people in the space. They're always talking about what crypto is going to moon, how you're going to be rich, next week. And that doesn't work out for 99.9% of the world. So
right.
To that 0.1, but for the rest of them, they get wrecked. And so I try to be real. I try to just, speak the truth. And some people, hate it. Some people, enjoy it. But at the end of the day, it's all about giving back, because it is selfish in a way, because the more you get back, it seems like the more you get. It's weird how that works.
Right.
but it is. It definitely.
That's the way it is. Yeah. Yeah, for Christians, anyways. We've got just a few minutes remaining, but I wanted to ask you just quickly, for those people that would be interested in crypto, can you kind of, give a short on how they can get involved, how they can purchase Bitcoin, or, what they need to do in order to get involved with the space?
Yeah. And again, I know I sound kind of anti-crypto when I'm going against, I guess what most people would be talking about is how it's gonna go to the moon and all this kind of stuff. And I would imagine that some are going to do well. But for people that want to get into cryptocurrency, again, I can't stress this enough. Never put any of your hard-earned money into it that you're not willing to lose.
Right.
So with that preface, placed, to get into it, it's very simple. You can go to the Apple Store, you can go to the Android Store, you can download the Monarch Wallet for free. There, you and only you will have access to your funds. So you can instantly send, store, and receive cryptocurrency there to where you are the monarch of your funds, and only you will have it. Then we have additional services in there that get a little bit more risk adverse, right? So you're going to be, you'll be able to buy cryptocurrencies, right? So if it goes up or down or whatever, it's some risk. You'll be able to buy and sell. You'll be able to swap cryptocurrencies, so you can trade one for another. You can do that there. You can also earn interest on your cryptocurrencies, which means that you could take your currencies from, like a cold storage wallet or a decentralized wallet like Monarch, and you can put them into one of our partners' wallets and earn interest on it.
Awesome.
You can do all that stuff. But yeah, Monarch would be a great, safe place. I wouldn't have created it otherwise. For people that want to get into cryptocurrency, it's a great spot. monarchwallet.com, free to download. Try it out. Let me know what you think. And like I said, we're giving away $50,000 worth of tokens right now to people that just hit a little claim button. They get a share. Basically, it's proportionate across all people that hit the claim button. That 50,000 is spread out across all of them, no strings attached.
Nice. With regard to the when you do download the wallet, is it something that comes up online and you are using a browser? How it's an application, so it like opens up its own?
No, it's essentially a smartphone application. So
okay.
You don't have to worry about using a web browser and that kind of stuff. It downloads directly to your device and is stored directly on your device. And only you have access to it. So it's not like you have to worry about some kind of, any kind of like web attack or anything like that. It's going to be on your device. And so, as long as Apple or Android doesn't get completely hacked, I would imagine there'd be, if they get hacked, there's going to be a lot worse things that happen than other than Monarch, right? So, right. But it's on your actual device. And the best way to defend against that is if you're storing cryptocurrency, here's a really quick way for you guys to safely store your crypto, right? So take an old phone that you have, an old smartphone, download the Monarch wallet on it, transfer your cryptocurrency to it, put it in airplane mode, turn off the Wi-Fi to it, you don't even need like a cell phone service provider, any of that kind of stuff. And essentially now you have a free hardware wallet. You keep it in the Wi-Fi off, airplane mode, no cell phone service to whatsoever. Your Bitcoin is on it. Your Ethereum's on it. Your ERC20 tokens, whatever you have, keep it on it. Store that phone in a safe, secure area. If whatever the tokens or coins you're holding goes up in value and you want to sell them, simply turn on the Wi-Fi, and then you're able to transact and then turn off the Wi-Fi again, put it back in airplane mode, and boom. So you can do that right now. It's free to download. So monarchwallet.com. You'll see the links to download anything and everything right there.
Sweet. That's awesome, brother. Well, we greatly appreciate you. Also with regard to people that want to get into and take advantage of the giveaway, that's also on the monarchwallet.com website.
Yeah. As soon as you,
excellent.
It's actually in the wallet itself. So once you download the wallet, you'll see a banner right at the top. The banner is going to tell you where you can get your free money. Just click that. It's super simple. You just hit collect and boom. It's literally like 2 buttons you push.
Nice.
So it's down with the wallet, they'll see it.
All right, brother. Hey, we greatly appreciate you coming on and joining us this evening and for sharing, your expertise. If you would just give out all of your website contacts and platform links once more?
Sure. Just go to cryptobeadles.com. That's Beadles, Beadles, cryptobeadles.com. All my socials are right there. For Monarch, just go to monarchwallet.com. For merchants, monarchpay.com. You can find me there. I got a YouTube channel that's Crypto Beadles, so it's Crypto Beadles on YouTube. Got a TV show that we do every week. It's on Biz TV. It's also called Crypto Beadles. I'm super easy to find, and just Robert Beadles on Twitter. But again, all those links are right there on cryptobeadles.com.
Okay, nice. The Biz TV show, is that one that you also live stream to your YouTube channel? And what time is that show, and where they just go to biz.tv, or?
It's on Biz TV, so it's it's a national show. It's in millions of homes every single week. It's
awesome.
Just Comcast, DirecTV. You just look for Biz TV, and you'll see it there. I'm on 2-3 times a week there.
Sweet. All right, brother. Well, we greatly appreciate you again, and let's do an update checkup, maybe a month or so down the road.
Always there for you, brother. God bless.
All right. Appreciate you. And same thing, anytime you'd like me to come back on with you, be glad to do so.
Got it.
All right. Be blessed all. Good night. We appreciate all of you. Shalom.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this video and this broadcast. We appreciate all of you, and thank you for your patronage. Please do like and subscribe and share with your friends. God bless all of you in your seeking.